These are the 15 apps that a sheriff's department in Florida says parents need to know about and possibly even check their kids' phones for. Now, some of them are very popular apps. In fact, most adults might have them on their phones, including WhatsApp, TikTok, and Snapchat, all very popular messaging apps. However, they could be used for more nefarious purposes when it comes to youth. Let's take a look at some of them, including Scout, which encourages users to make new friends. And it allows minors to sign up for accounts. However, users under the age of 17 can't share private photos. That's something, though, that the police department says could get easily bypassed. Then there's TikTok, another very popular video sharing app. However, it was recently fined by the FTC nearly $6 million because it wasn't properly protecting children's information. And then there's LiveMe, which encourages users to stream live videos. They also have a system that the sheriff's department says can be used to essentially pay minors for photos. The warning comes after the department arrested 25 men for traveling with intent to have sex with a child. They're accused of using online ads, apps, and social media to have explicit conversations. 5 of the apps are for online dating. Badoo, Bumble, Grindr, Meet Me, and Scout share user locations, and even though kids aren't supposed to use them, police say they're on there. Hot or Not allows users to rate profile pics, but police say it's used to hook up. Then there's video apps like Snapchat, LiveMe, TikTok, and Holla, popular with kids, but police say they're tools for cyberbullying and sexting. Messaging apps Pics and WhatsApp have unlimited access and few restrictions, according to police. Finally, there are 3 that specialize in anonymity. Ask FM lets users ask questions. Whisper is a social network that shares locations, and Calculator is an app that isn't for crunching numbers, but rather hiding files and browsing histories. The sheriff's department isn't saying that parents need to go out and delete every one of these apps from their child's phone if their child has it, but it's important to know which apps your child can responsibly use and which apps you feel comfortable with them using.